to start right now.
And they're off. The track is green. Pulling into the pits. You can bring it out. Here we are. And Ryan is off, the track. He's in the dirt, and he's really getting himself.
Right. Both on the outside there, he gets their speed. No, it changes.
And he's on top of the cyclist up there.
Fantastic time from him so far. Fastest time in qualifying up to now. So let's see if anybody's in a position to beat that time.
And this is the TTASA eSports Gran Turismo Sport Digital Cup 2020. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first round of racing here at the online GT Sport eSports 2020 Cup, our first ever TTASA hosted online racing event. So we have a lot of fun, exciting racing coming up tonight, and we have none other than Ray Smith and Mark Pogson in the pit for some wonderful commentary. And this is your boy, Warren Stromberger. Ray.
Thank you very much, Warren. A special good night to each and every one of you as well. As we've just heard, tonight is our very first night of official competition action taking place right here online with you in the GT Cup. The first edition of the GT Cup qualifiers taking place today. The races are broken up into several different races that will take place over the next 4 days. And in those 4 days, we will have an A, B, C, and D race, and all of these races would have been filled out through the qualifiers that took place during the course of the last few days of last week. So we want to thank all of the competitors who have been involved in the competition so far. We are now down to 48 competitors who are taking part in the quarterfinal stages that takes place between tonight and tomorrow night. The first race is going to take place just about 5 minutes from now. So we welcome you and we thank you very much for joining us. And as we get started, we'd like to thank those who made it possible for this particular event to take place. Of course, our lead sponsor is Motul Lubricants. So we want to thank Motul Lubricants for getting on board and for getting involved in this particular series. We also want to thank Garage Fresh, the guys at Rent a Studio, Trinituner.com, and of course, not forgetting Trap Speed Simulators. We will be bringing you all of the action as it takes place. This evening's race takes place on the Dragon Trail Circuit. The Dragon Trail Circuit, one of those famous fantasy circuits, as we were informed by Mark so reliably the last time we were talking about it. A fantastic circuit with a lot of technical corners as well as hairpins and a particular chicane known as the Death Chicane or the Chicane of Death. I know Luke knows a lot about this particular track and will probably be able to give us a little more information about it as we get ready to bring you the action live this evening.
Okay, well, the Death Chicane is a 4th gear chicane, and some cars maybe a 5th gear chicane, that if you get wrong, you basically set yourself from first to last instantly. I've tried this out a lot of times, and it's tricky. It's tricky. Yeah, to say the least. Yeah,
it is. It's quite a tricky chicane. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the drivers navigate this particular chicane as well as the others in the course. 3 big hairpin corners. The course has 17 turns. So it's going to be a very technical course for the drivers to get through. This course is longer than the course that they would have used for the official qualifying. And these cars are Group 4 cars, which means that they will have a lot more power, a lot more ability in terms of being able to navigate this particular course as quickly as possible. All drivers have been able to get to the point of qualifying, and we thank them very much for their continued participation. We will see all 48 drivers over the next 2 days, and right after that, we have a break on Wednesday. Right after that, we will have the semi-final rounds. A little later on, we'll tell you exactly how the competition is going to be broken out. for the placing in the quarterfinal rounds. The big piece of news coming out of that has to do with the fact that the first 6 competitors who finish 1 to 6 in these quarterfinals, they move on to the semi-finals. So that's big news for the guys this evening. First 6 move on to the semi-finals in all 4 races. If for some reason or the other you are unable to qualify this evening, then this evening will be your last evening with us. And of course, that will bring an end to your competition run. Luke, this is a very interesting competition for the most part. That Dragon Trail track does provide some interesting action for the most part, as far as we know. People are coming up with some kind of interesting times as it relates to the run of the track. I've been hearing numbers like 148, 149. I even heard this evening about someone being able to come into the 145. So it will be very, very interesting to see what kind of time these guys are able to come up with, as well as their strategy. Luke, maybe you can share a little bit of information about strategy and its importance in this competition.
Well, being that it's a 15-lap race, that tires are being used up and the tire wear as well as fuel consumption is on. Drivers will have to take the time to pick the exact right time to come into the pit to change tires and decide if they're going to conserve fuel or not. So if they're going to play the long game and run a no pit stop strategy, or single stop, or worst case a double stop, it's up to each driver and based on how they use their car and how they wear tires. But there are many manufacturers to choose from and many different decisions to be made into how they're going to be attacking the track. So drivers have a lot on the table pertaining to deciding what they'll be doing from the first leg of the race. Choosing either not to burn themselves out too fast by chasing fast lap times, but just to pace themselves over the race. But there are many decisions to be made, but we have a lot of fast drivers on the grid. And being that this is the A group, meaning we have the fastest driver who came from qualifying, being Brandon Driftbad Steele, it should be a very fast pace for this race. So if drivers are able to hold on to him, it's a whole other story. But we have 5 minutes before the start of the race, and we have so many drivers to talk about.
Exactly. Talking about that's pole position, that's Brandon Steele, so he's already in the pole position. Next in line, next to him on P2 on the grid is Stephen Hussein. Following him is in P3 is Shaquille Gray. Adrian Passad is in P4, and Jonathan Williams is in P5. Luke?
From P6, we have David Jacobs, who's also known as Lord Tantos. In P7, we have Hayden Nanton. In P8, we have Christian Alcantara, otherwise known as Peanut. He is also the youngest driver that we have in this competition at just 16 years of age. Following him would be Dylan Ali, famous racing rally driver who recently came from karting or jumped into karting. Is that correct, Ray?
Correct.
Okay, fair enough. He jumped into karting.
He's involved in karting.
He's very pretty. Just look for those Oakley shades and you should find him on the karting track. Following him, we have Keston Henry, who's Pest Control 1418, Colin Hernandez, Starboy 795, and Jordan Milford bringing up the bottom end of the group. So listing from top to bottom, these drivers are all picked 1, then 5th, and then 9th, and then keep going down until the bottom of the list. So the first will be the fastest and the last will be the slowest. But these last place drivers, the guys at the back of the grid, are not counted out yet, being that this track is too technical. One mistake could put them into contention in that top spot. It happens really fast, and I can't wait to see what takes place with this race.
Absolutely. As we're getting ready to bring you the action, we want to say a special good evening to Ms. Delicia Blizzard, the representative from the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, who is taking in the action on our live feed. And if you have just joined us, please share the feed with your friends and your family. The live feed is on YouTube, and you can get it at the TTASA eSport channel, TTASA eSport. So that's the channel to share and like, and make sure that you share this information with everyone so that we can move swimmingly along to the semi-finals, which takes place on Thursday and Friday, and then on Thursday, Friday. Correct. Thursday and Friday. Correct. Off. And then Saturday is the final. Yeah? So
really?
Yes, Saturday is the finals, Luke.
Ray, I don't believe you're sure. I'm on my candle like this. Oh my. Well, at least I'm off on Wednesday, so we have nothing on Wednesday, but we bring racing fresh, back and hot and sweaty Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
All right. So we've just been advised by race control that we're just waiting for two other drivers to get in, two of the other qualifiers, just to get into the grid so that we can get that grid underway. So we may need just a couple more minutes as we are continuing to bring you this action here live. Remember, the live feed is on TTASA eSport on YouTube. TTASA eSport on YouTube. Yeah?
If you're watching this now, please share with all your friends. Again, let's make racing great by sharing the love and sharing our young drivers with the world. So share it on Facebook, WhatsApp, everywhere you can share it, just share it and hit that subscribe button down below and just ring that little bell icon. It means the world to us, because without your spectatorship, we would not have a reason to put these races on. Also, Ray, I can't wait to see what drivers are going to come out. Expecting Brandon, because I believe that being that he's one of the fastest racers out there on the track, other racers are going to wait for the second race to see what Brandon picks to see if they can drive it pretty quickly.
Sure, absolutely. Like I said before, I'm still waiting to see, who is consistent, who is able to come up with those consistent times during the course of the qualifiers, so that we can determine whether or not anybody's as good as Brandon or better than Brandon. Brandon had a fantastic qualifying position, fantastic qualifying time, but of course, anything can happen in racing. We are going to be starting in just about a couple of minutes, just about 7:14 on this beautiful Monday evening. We expect to start at just about 7:15, just about 7:15. We will get the action started. The next official qualifier for the evening, or not qualifier, sorry, the next official quarterfinals takes place just around 8:30 p.m. So just a little bit more information with regard to the Dragon Trail track. It's a seaside fictional circuit that appears in Gran Turismo Sport. It is a 5-kilometer circuit set in Croatia that is located along the seaside, as the name suggests. The track is essentially a triangular shape, but it contains hidden depths that add to its complexity. Most notably of which is that it is set on a hillside. So that's something to look forward to in terms of the changing elevations that the drivers will have to navigate as they continue to be able to get into the racing action. Yeah, seeing somebody heading out to the grid, it looks like. So that may very well be the last couple of drivers who are coming in. Mark is being told that we can go ahead and get into the track now.
Yes.
Yeah, circuit length 3.237 miles. Number of turns 17.
Okay, so we have Island Paradise there in the BMW. We have Brandon Driftgrat, and is he a Subaru? Is that a Subaru? But he's a non-Evo guy. What is going on here?
That is correct.
Okay,
that
guys,
is a Subaru.
the world, everything is going insane, guys. It's going insane because everyone knows Brandon for his orange Subaru and nothing else, and everyone knows orange Evo. But this is a Subaru, and everyone knows who drives Evos. You don't jump to that way. It's go the other way around.
Okay, so just as we continue to bring the action and they get ready to form up on the grid, the voice that you would have heard a minute ago is the voice of Mark Pogson. And we will go to Mark in a few minutes as we get some technical information from him. But we're getting ready for the start of the race right now, ladies and gentlemen. The start of the first qualifier, the first quarterfinal, taking place right here, right now, live, bringing it to you the first edition of the TTASA eSports Gran Turismo Sport Digital Cup 2020 edition.
And we're just waiting for those lights to come on, and when the lights go out and that number hits go, the race is on. So we are green,
We are starting, ladies and gentlemen. We've just gotten a good start. They make their way up to that first corner. The first corner is a right-hander. It's a high-speed right-hander, actually. After which they'll be making their way up to what is the first chicane. Difficult, we can't tell. Right now, Brandon is in the lead. Brandon has gotten that lead from pole position, is holding on to that lead at the moment. So just on the side there.
Started in 5th place, he's now up to 2nd place.
Drift
fighting
Monkey.
Contention. Yes, that's Drift Monkey. That is, I believe, Johnson Williams. That red Corvette.
So Brandon is currently followed by Stephen Hussein, who's followed by Drift Monkey. So that's your first three at the moment in terms of the running order.
Drift Monkey is actually right in front of Simon Hussein. So right now, Alan Paradise, Simon Hussein is in third place,
Oh, he's in
running down
third.
Drift Monkey. And Brandon's using this time to get away as far as he can from this battle in the back. Okay, so we do have Drift Monkey, then that lovely red Corvette chasing down that Subaru out front. Meanwhile, Island Paradise in the BMW M4. And in fifth place, we have Dylan Ali. So Dylan Ali, I believe he went with, is that the Renault or is that the Lamborghini? It looks like the Renault RS01. Mark, can you confirm what car we have Dylan Ali in?
I want to believe that's his Citroen he's in.
Oh, it's a Citroen.
Looks like a
My
Citroen,
bad.
yeah. It's a Citroen.
Does the
Which
Citroen
is-
have an overtake button, I believe?
Only if he
Yep,
has a
that's a
TSS sticker on it. But the Citroen is an interesting choice. It's almost an OP car for this course. However, it has a very big negative. It's terrible on fuel. It's terrible on fuel. It's also bad on tires as well. So he may be able to keep up with the fast guys, or maybe even if he's fast enough, put on a fastest lap with that car. But it's gonna drink fuel, and it's also gonna destroy tires. So if this was a race that didn't take into account fuel burn and tires,
And fuel.
yeah, that would definitely be the car to choose. But I am not so sure with a 15 lap course if it's a good choice.
As you know, Dylan Ali reads only karting background, and he has a lot of experience in karts. So with that in mind, let's see if we can put that experience hook and close that gap from Brandon to Brad Steele. I believe is moving on 6 seconds of penalty back right now.
Brandon currently has almost just, I would say, just about 4 seconds lead over everybody else. He's in that Subaru, which is
6 mark. We'll leave 6 soon. I'm psychic. I'm telling you, Brandon's gonna close the lead here.
yeah.
But
Well,
this-
I mean, yeah, you're correct. It's down already up to 4.3. The gap's growing. That Subaru is a very wise choice. It's good on tires. It's good on fuel. It's a very reliable car on its track. I think Brandon made a very wise all-round choice. Seeing that no matter what his strategy is, if he gets into traffic, he has a good all-round car to meet any particular strategy that might catch him off guard.
Mark, as we're talking about strategy and the fuel and tire issue, could you just explain for the viewers the tire issue as well as the fuel issue? Tires and what the factor by which they're timed.
So, tire wear is something that's quite interesting in this game, in that this being a video game, we apply what's called a tire wear multiplier. So, if it's real life and it's multiplied by 4, then those tires that you have will wear 4 times as fast as if it was in real life. So we do have a tire multiplier on these cars, and they are going to go away, these tires, very quickly. Now, one of the things is you want to try and preserve your tires as much as possible, because the worse your tires get is the greater your chances for making error, and also your lap times will suffer. So the thing about it is to try to brake early and not to try to turn in and brake at the same time. Those help a lot, and doing a lot of coasting. Coasting also gets along to the advantage of saving fuel. So the reason, there we have a big thing with Drift Monkey there.
Monkey, where's he right now? He just dropped back on the 5th place.
He
From
dropped back
3rd
in
place,
the-
he dropped out. Yep.
Oh.
There,
The
Mark.
chicane of, it looked like the chicane of death took its first victim.
Definitely the chicane of death got him there. And
The chicane of death took
yes.
its first victim.
correct.
Yeah.
Up,
So
and we
I'm
have
seeing that Dylan is
we have Nathan Pham also spinning out as well.
spinning out as well.
On number 9 there, and so he's not having a good day as well.
So with this in mind, we just goes to show that running from 3rd place on the track, you can fall straight to the back of the pack with one little mistake. as Drift Monkey praised the ultimate prize. Right now we have Island Paradise in a comfortable second place, followed by Dylan Ali, who's holding on to the back of that very lovely BMW M4 as best as he can, as he tries to conserve tires and conserve fuel for the next couple laps.
Just a reminder to all the viewers and that in the competition, only the first 6 qualify to go forward in to the semi-final round. So those guys who are in 7th position down right now, they're actually at a risk of not being able to get into the semi-finals.
Ray, what's taking place with that repechage race by chance? I believe after that 6. What's taking place with the repechage race? I believe from position 7 to 10 in each race does have a possibility to enter into the repechage race and fight for, I believe, the remaining 4 spots entering these semi-finals.
The way that it's written in the rules book, the rules say, let me just get the rules there quickly so that we can have that. Let me just get to the rules quickly. Right. So the top 4 drivers in each semi-final will progress into the final. The last 2 drivers in each semi-final will be eliminated, and then the drivers placing between 5th and 10th in the semi-final will be the ones that go to the repechage. So it's not the drivers in the quarterfinals that go to the repechage. It's the drivers coming out of the semi-final that goes into the repechage. Yeah, that's okay. This is all new to a lot of us, and we are still making sure that we have a keen eye in terms of what is happening with regard to the rules and the running order and the application of the said rules to the actual event. The event continues at the moment. We are into our 5th lap of a 15-lap heat. 5th lap of our 15-lap heat. The pit window is coming up about now. It should be either 7th or 8th, the 7th or 8th lap, where we'll start to see people going into the pits to get that needed tire change, to get that fuel, to be able to make it to the end of the race. So that is something that people are going to be taking advantage of. The competitors are going to be taking advantage of. There is a battle that is going on between Adrian and Dylan for 3rd. There is a battle right now going on between Adrian and Dylan for 3rd position. So that's something to pay attention to as well, because Brandon is right now in a class of his own. He's in a race by himself.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. That was chaos there. A little argy-bargy there. That was a little bit of rough driving there. That dead chicane is not something anybody tries to get through side by side. There just isn't enough room. So,
it isn't enough room, exactly.
No, but I'm surprised that they're still heading straight forward, because that was a very risky move he just made there.
Right now, the Carter is getting the best out of our street guy, Adrian Prasad. But let's see if Adrian Prasad will hold on to him and make him pay later down the race.
So the current running order is Brandon is in the lead, followed by Stephen Hussein, followed by Dylan Ali. Then Adrian Lord Thanos is in 5th, and in 6th is Peanut. Peanut is in 6th. So that's the top 6 at the moment. If the running order remains the same, but that could very well change based on pit strategy. So that's your running order at the moment, and those are the drivers that look set to get into the semi-finals. But anything can happen coming out of the pit. Anything can happen with regard to the pit strategy. That's something that remains to be seen at the moment as it relates to how this particular event will continue. If you're online with us right now, you're paying attention, we do appreciate it, and we thank you very much for being here with us in this very first quarterfinal here on YouTube Live. So we thank you very much for making the effort to support motorsport in Trinidad and Tobago. Please stay tuned. There will be some information being shared with you during the intermission between this event as well as the next event. And the next event starts at 8:30. So please, just remember, the next event is going to be on at 8:30. And don't forget to like and share the YouTube feed, so that we can get the viewership up and get more people involved in the sim racing activity taking place at this time in Trinidad and Tobago. We also like to advise that there is another event coming up in about a month after this one, so please stay tuned for that. Peanut is in 6th position, which is the final position before relegation. So it's good to see Peanut as one of the youngest drivers still hanging on there and remaining in contention. But as we just pointed out, if for some reason or the other anything happens with the pit strategy, he may or may not end up out of the running. So let's see if that happens, if anything changes when they head into the pit. Just about on the 7th lap now, it looks like. So it means that they should be looking to make their way to the pit just about now. Mark?
Yeah, it seems to be an interesting race so far. Island Paradise seems to be out on no man's land on his own, which actually isn't bad because he'll be able to put down his perfect strategy on his own. So is Brandon would be out in no man's land on his own. So I would say that they're spending a lot of time paying attention on their fuel and tires and conserving just so much so that when they go in the pit, they just have to take that much time less to get out of that pit. And they'll be paying attention to where the cars are on the rest of the racetrack and choosing the correct moment and when to pit, hoping to get out where there is no more traffic. So, I mean, that is what I would do, and that's what I think Steven and Brandon would do as well. Adriano is also here fighting a close battle between 3rd and 4th here. They seem to be battling back and forth. I think that's a really interesting battle, but the thing about it is with them battling so much, I'm not sure how much fuel and tires they are saving, because they might be battling so hard that strategy may be put it in the wayside. Lord Thanos, well, this seemed to be in a 3-man battle here, which again, I don't know if they had enough time to save any fuels or really look at their tires. If I was in this position, I might stay back and just basically short shift and save my tires. We have our first competitor going in is Drift Monkey, and yes, he seems to be taking some fuel now. He was originally on his soft tires. We also have Nantan Farm and also taking fuel as well. They were originally on his soft tires, which is an interesting choice to start with, and they're going back out with the soft tires, so they're staying with the soft. And we have Nantan Farm coming back out with the medium tires. So he has taken 77 liters of fuel. So he may be trying to say, well, that's it. I'm not going back in the pit again. I'm going to try to stay with these tires and the amount of fuel I have and continue and finish this race with a 1 pitter.
Malcolm, what do you think about that 1 pit strategy? Do you think that's the best idea right now going forward?
I don't think the 1 pit is a bad idea at all. It probably would have been my personal choice. It might have been a choice between actually stretching out the soft, 2 sets of soft tires, or soft and medium. But again, it would all depend on what car I would have chosen, because some cars are really brutal on tires and some cars are a lot better. So like if you had a really heavy all-wheel drive car like the GTR, those seem to eat up tires. So that would have been something that I may have considered, maybe the soft and medium strategy. Whereas if we go to something like the Mazda or even the Supra, a double soft strategy would have been a good idea. But I mean, now we have Steven and Brandon now in the pits as well, and Adriano. So we have all our top men now taking the pit on the 8th lap. So it seems like most of our competitors up, and we have Starboy hitting the wall there. But it seems like most.
He could have been a little too early there.
Yeah, he was. That's another definition of an early apex.
Okay, Starboy was actually the 41st qualifier, put him 11th in this race. So right now he gained 1 position just being out there right now. So he has a bit more room to cruise.
All right, so we're seeing that Peanut is probably now moved up a couple of places. He was in 5th a little while ago because of a runoff on the track from Lord Thanos. And we also have information that advises that Brandon Steele had the fastest lap of a 145.748. 145.748. So that's the kind of time that Brandon is making at the moment. The average time for drivers who are considered novices is 148 or 149, 147 on the outside. A matter of fact, between Brandon and Steven, there was a 6-second gap, just as Luke predicted. So that means that Luke would have been able to predict that Stephen was doing a lap of 151 as opposed to Brandon's 145. So very interesting stuff here. Now, as we continue to take in the action, we look at the running order just to be able to give you an idea of who is now in the lead.
So Lord Santos ran off. Peter is now up into 5th, and Lord Santos will be falling back through the pack as we speak. Lord Santos is David Jacob. He is 40 years of age, one of the older drivers, and he has been taken to these young guns for the past 9 laps of this race.
I would say that's 40 years young, eh? Not 40 years old, that's 40 years young.
Ray, how many years young have you?
And that is the question of the day, ladies and gentlemen. The question of the day, as we continue to take in the action here, the running order at the moment is Brandon Driftback Steele, followed by Stephen Hussein, followed by, it looks like, Adriano. Lord Santos is now in 4th position. Dylan Ali is in 5th. Drift Monkey is in 6th. Peanut is now running in 7th. So he's in the relegation area. He starts up the relegation field. Pest Control is in 8th. Nanton is in 9th. And Starboy is in 10th. That's your running order at the moment. Brandon still has the fastest lap though, coming in at a 145.78. Nobody's touching Brandon and his lap times at the moment. So that's going to be interesting to pay attention to later on in the competition to see whether or not anybody is in a position to come up with those kinds of times. Brandon, it's good to know that Brandon has been racing these games since Gran Turismo 1.
Since the fetus. Since fetus.
1. 60, that's exactly. He's been racing since 16 years. Brandon has been racing. So it's no surprise that Brandon is coming up with some of the fastest times here this evening. As we continue to bring in the action, we thank you very much. And of course, we want to thank once again our sponsors for today's event. The sponsors are Motul Lubricants, as well as Garage Fresh, Rent a Studio, TriniTuner.com, and Track Speed Simulators. We thank them all for their sponsorship of this event. Without our sponsors, this event would not be possible. We also want to thank you for tuning in and being part of our live audience. We say a special good evening to the guys who are making the live chat lit, who are lighting up the live chat as the action continues here. Haven't gotten a chance to check it yet, but
guys, just we have a quick question. If anyone knows the age of how young Ray is, just drop that in the chat section there below. And if you get the right answer, you're gonna pick up on the live. Simple. Let me know how old you think Ray is. That's all I want to know in this life. I don't ask so much. And secondly, we do have someone who has Brandon's number, and that's ERS bad guy Kali. I'm sure if his internet is working properly, he's going to take it to Brandon for the quarterfinals.
Yeah, but Brandon just lapped the last place. Brandon has just lapped the back marker, so Brandon is now making his way up.
Someone call his chief. Call that pit chief and let him move Brandon to slow down. He's making guys look bad. Brandon, can you please stop this? Stop.
So the running order at the moment: Brandon, Stephen, Adrian, Dylan, Jonathan, Peanut, Keston, David, and Colin. That's the running order right now. So that's interesting in terms of what is happening with regard to the action here. Live action being brought to you. And please note, ladies and gentlemen, all of this is being done under the Race at Home initiative. All of the drivers are racing at home. The organizers, the race control. We say a special good evening to Debbie Nath, to Dwayne Buddha Singh, to Jared Wilson, the guys who are taking responsibility for putting on this event. Jared Wilson is all the way in Texas at the moment, being part of this event and supporting the event as well. Of course, we continue to thank Top Speed Simulators and Mark Hodgson for making sure that the live feed is up and we are able to bring you the action as well. And of course, everyone else is paying attention to the hashtag Race at Home. Brandon just lapped the back marker, so that would have meant that the blue flag would have come out for the back marker, indicating to the back marker that somebody faster than him is coming around him. So Brandon,
these races are paying attention, Ray. I hope they're paying attention to that blue flashing lights and the blue leaving flags on the track.
Very important. Yeah, all of the guidelines that are involved in actual racing are here. All of them are here. So it means that if there is a blue flag, you as the driver who is getting that blue flag need to clear the driving line to allow the car that is faster than you to get past you safely. That is what that blue flag means. as we continue to bring you the action. The times are still 6 and 7 seconds between Brandon and the top runner. Very, very interesting in terms of what Brandon is able to come up with. I want to thank Dwayne for sending the information so that we can share that information with you as we continue to bring you the action here. We are still bringing that action to you right now.
So right now we're with
Don't
Lord
forget.
Tantos, and Lord Tantos is hounding down Peanut as Peanut is in that last qualifying spot. And the only way he's going to get into this quarterfinals is by catching Peanut and passing it.
So that's an interesting battle going on there right now between Lord Tantos and Peanut. Remember, Peanut is in now, he's in 6th position, which means he's in the semi-final run lineup. So that's good information that relates to what is happening where Peanut is concerned. It's nice to see such a young competitor involved and making his way through the pack, roughing it up with the bigger guns in the sport. Don't forget, the next quarterfinal begins at 8:30. 8:30 right here this evening. 8:30 is the next quarterfinal. We also want to again thank the support, thank the Ministry of Sport for their support of this event. The Ministry of Sport's representative, Ms. Delicia Blizzard, is paying attention, and of course we are very, very happy to have her here with us.
We have Peanut that just put on a fabulous move on the inside there. That was a great, he broke and he got the inside line there and passed him on I afraid about it, but that power of that Corvette is gonna pass him back. But that was a fabulous pass and a great battle going on. Peanut, oh, he has to fall back now because he just couldn't hold that inside line. But that was a great move of Peanut. Let's hope he can basically capitalize on it and hold on it and not finish the lap. Up we have Drift Monkey going a little wide there, and Peanut again capitalizing. He has the inside line again. This is going to be a tricky one. Peanut relocates that point and gives a wave to Drift Monkey, who has the faster car. Let's see if Peanut can do it. I really, really hope he can. He's very driving very consistently, and I find Drift Monkey is a little bit on the Rift and Raggedy version there.
Yeah, that is very interesting. It's good to see Peanut, as I keep saying it. This young man comes to racing events, comes with his dad, takes in the events. He's not young, he's not old enough to actually compete in the actual racing events, but here he can match with the big guns. That is very interesting. It just goes to show that this platform allows for other competitors who cannot take part in actual motorsport to take part in this environment, in this scenario. Really interesting to see Peanut and to determine exactly what kind of time he is going to come, what kind of place he's going to end up coming up with as he makes his way through that chicane of death. Very dangerous chicane to take at a high speed, but also very technical for all drivers, even the more experienced ones who from time to time find themselves catching themselves against the wall in what is known as the bus shelter chicane. So the action continues here live. Sorry, Mark, please.
Peanut seems to definitely have the better exit line on that last curving left bend, but that power of that Corvette seems to always pull away. So, I mean, Peanut is definitely fighting to get back that 5th position. He's definitely fighting. This battle seems to be very interesting there. And we have Dylan right up ahead, which is also in no man's land. If I was him, I would just keep very consistent and try to hold my line.
Okay, so right now with the battle between Peanut, there's a 16-year-old, there's a 29-year-old, and behind him we have Lord Tantos, who's a 40-year-old. But these guys have similar levels of experience, and it's really about who's going to be more consistent and who's going to be first to make an error. So Peanut's going to have to force an error out of Drift Monkey, because
and this battle is continuing between Peanut and Drift Monkey. This is an amazing battle going on here. Peanut has also gotten back the lead again, but again we have a long straightaway again where that Corvette is going to show its grunt on the top speed, and he's going to pull back. Is Peanut going to defend? Because if I was Peanut, I would hold that inside line and defend that line and try to give, and he does hold that. He's going to hold, let's hope he does not allow him any space to just stick his nose between that dead chicane. And if
okay, so right now out front. Mark, go ahead. You stopped. Right now we have Brandon Drift Bradsteel out front there now, setting the fastest lap of the race on the 14th lap of the race. With just one lap to go. That's a 1:45.640. So that's now the new fastest lap at Dragon Trail. But Brandon is not just setting a massive gap, 27 seconds between him and the 4th place position, but he is still pushing to basically demoralize these drivers as they head into the quarterfinals. He's really showing what he's got up front, holding nothing back as he moves into a comfortable lead in this first place.
Final lap battles are taking place at the moment. So pay attention. Final lap battles.
And Peanut's open half a second gap and it's closing down again. But let's see if Peanut could keep growing that gap, because this is
Santos is right behind, guys.
Drift Monkey is
Santos
right
there in
there.
7th place.
But
the big battle between 5th, 6th, and 7th. Yeah?
But Drift Monkey is now in the pressure of somebody behind. Up and he goes wide. He's gonna spin around.
Santos,
oh my
Santos.
God! I think he's just lost it. And we have Drift Monkey getting a penalty for exceeding track limits. And we have a big battle going on between Lord Santos and Drift Monkey. This is chaos going on in the back here. This is a little too much. They should be focusing on trying to close that gap, because we have Peanut now capitalizing, and he's just gonna pull away with that gap. But he already has a gap of over a second and a half, which is definitely gonna mean that. And that's it. They're finishing, so the time results are gonna go in just now.
Brandon just won his first race of the evening. Not that he has any,
I add,
but
very comfortably.
Very, very comfortably. Brandon Driftback Steel winning comfortably from the rest of the field in a Subaru, by the way. Very, very, very convincing win from Brandon Driftback Steel
in second place.
Position.
In second place, we had Stephen Hussein, Island Paradise, who was just about a half second slower than Brandon in qualifying. So the gap between them is nothing. But Brandon was still able to pull out a massive lead before the end of this race from all drivers behind him. In third place, we had Adriano, followed by, I believe, who was in fourth place? That's Ali in fourth place in that Citroen. In fifth place, we have the Peanut Man himself, Peanut Butter, the youngest kid on the block, just 16 years of age, followed closely by Lord Santos. And in seventh place, Drift Monkey, veteran of the Rary, who will leave out.
That was an amazing drive by Peanut. He definitely held his line behind there, and he waited because it definitely seemed like he had the better tires coming up to the end of the race. I was definitely thinking that maybe he was holding back, maybe he was just waiting for that opportunity. He had the car that did not have the straightaway speed, but he had the car that definitely had the better exit speed coming out of the corners. So it definitely seemed like he just waited for the opportunity where that Corvette just ate away those tires, and he just capitalized coming to the end of the race. That definitely was an exciting part of that race.
So our last qualifier, I believe, would be Lord Santos to run out the group. Yeah?
First six, in the first six, yeah?
I just want to confirm, this information to confirm if Lord Santos was our final qualifier from this first A group in racing.
Based on the information I have here up to the end of the running order, but that's the finishing order, we will get confirmed. It would have been Lord Santos, but I believe that still needs to be confirmed. That's unofficial. And we need to confirm that with the race control. Once again, we want to thank our sponsors for today's event, and of course for sponsoring this eSport GT Cup series, the 2020 edition, Motul Lubricants, Garage Fresh, Rent a Studio, TriniTuner.com, and of course Drop Speed Simulators. If we could just get the final six, the last one of the six, so that we can confirm and give to the audience the final sixth position, so that we know exactly who are the six before we go to that intermission. Don't forget, folks, the next event is coming up at 8:30 p.m. 8:30 p.m. is the next event, so we should be getting that on the way at 8:30. We want to thank you for joining us so far, for being part of this experience, and we look forward to your continued support of motorsport in Trinidad and Tobago.
In the second event, Ray, which is a very big race, we have the second fastest driver in qualifier, the guy who took 2 laps to set the fastest time. Like, to me, that was ridiculous, Ray. Like, so So if you saw that last week video
Yeah.
on like last week Friday and you check that out, the lap may not have been looking very clean based on internet connectivity issues, but it was fast. It was fast. So I think if anyone's gonna beat Brandon's time at Dragon Trail, it's ERS Bad Guy.
Yep. ERS Bad Guy does have the potential. He does certainly have the potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two laps.
I have the unfortunate chance of actually racing against Brandon, and he is ridiculous. He's almost alien fast. He's always usually a second and a half to 2 seconds faster than my time. So, I mean, it's just unreal, and I just can't ever figure out what it is I need to do to get down to those amazing times he puts down. And he's also remarkably good with his tires for a controller. And I always think that I could be able to get him in the end of a long race because I'm on a wheel and pedals, but he just, I don't know how he does it.
So
I played on a controller, and that's no small task.
Just to give you the final finishing order of the competitors who are taking part in today's first quarterfinals. In first position, Brandon Driftbat Steele. In second position, Stephen Hussein, Island Paradise. In third position, Adriano. In fourth position, Dylan Ali. In fifth position, Peanut. So Peanut would have been able to get that fifth position. In sixth position, Lord Tantos. And please remember that these guys are the guys who are going to go forward into the semi-final round without question. Drift Monkey was in seventh. Pest Control was in eighth. Nanton was in ninth. And Starboy was in 10th. These drivers have just been eliminated from the competition. We want to thank them for being part of the competition, and we look forward to seeing them in competitions in the future.
I'm just still surprised by that guy who's 40 years old in that sixth position. To me, that's amazing stuff. I'm amazed. I'm honestly amazed. Yeah. But we're gonna have a nice battle between those two drivers, and the next grid coming up is gonna be even more intense, as we have some big names there like Neil Gopi Singh, ERS Bad Guy, Mr. Sully himself, and Daniel Prasad. So plenty famous racers in the next race. So we're gonna have a lot of close, tight battles for the next round of Dragon Trail.
Just to be certain, is it that because he's 40 years old, you're surprised that he did so well? Luke, that's what it sounds like.
I think we should cut to intermission, guys, and we'll catch you again as we drop the live times right here in front of us. And we'll cut to intermission. Thanks, Ray. I'll be back.
We'll be back. We'll join you again at 8:30. Thank you very much. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As we are now about to jump into another interview as we get inside the mind of Stephen Hussein, the Mazda man himself, Alan Paradise, the Mazda Banton, one of our top 5 qualifiers, thanks to Mark Pogson. We'll bring more interviews to you as we are allowed to meet more drivers and get more videos like this. Enjoy.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and today we have Drift Brat here, or some as known as Brandon Steele. So Brandon, I have a couple questions for you, as a couple people probably want to know. First question I have for you, at what age were you introduced to
Okay, so as we fix this small technical difficulty, as we have a little issue with the video buffering to go onto this stream, I'll just tell you more about that last race and what took place. We had a very heated battle, but you can actually rewind this live stream and watch over the race if you like. Again, don't forget to support our lovely sponsors, everyone from our primary sponsor, Motul, and our secondary sponsors, leading with Garage Fresh, Rent a Studio, Trinituno, and TSS Simulators. Without these sponsors, racing would not be possible. TTASA, again supported by the FIA with this initiative to create some at-home racing for our local racers who are racing behind the actual steering wheel as those who are actually racing cars as we are in this off-season, as we await the government's word before we get back out at Waterfield track, as we are currently under some small renovations, making some massive improvements to the track at Waterfield, pertaining to facilities, of bathroom to stands, as well as some lovely paintwork being undertaken by the TTASA membership. Again, if you're not a TTASA member yet and you have a fast car that you want to test out, there's no better way than to become a member and gain some of the lovely benefits that you actually inherit from joining TTASA. Everything from access to every event that TTASA hosts, whether it's drag, whether it's circuit, whether it's drift. You're invited to all, and you have 1+1. So that alone should be paying back that $1,000 registration fee with TTASA in no time. And on top of that, you actually have access to the track to test out your cars on the track days, as well as you can request private track days for yourself to test out your vehicles in a safe, controlled environment with the support of TTASA and the safety of an ambulance, as well as local fire service. So again, these benefits can't be played down. So whether you drive a fast car, a Cube, a B13, a March, or a motorcycle, all these benefits will apply to you. Simply get registered with TTASA and get a chance to test your vehicle out in a safe, controlled environment. Again, let's take the racing off the roads and avoid these silly late night drag and drift.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And today we have Stephen Hussein, or as his PlayStation ID is Island Paradise. So, Stephen, how is this GT Sports series, this competitive series that TTASA is now hosting? How are you feeling about it?
Pretty good. It's great to see them trying new things and keeping up with the technology. It's a nice series, and I'm having fun so far.
Is GT Sport more than just a simulator to you? Is it a little bit more than just a video game?
No, for me, it's just a video game. It's somewhere I go to just to have fun and be online with friends and race against people. I don't really take it that serious. It can help with real world driving, but yeah, I don't take it too serious. I do it for fun and first and foremost.
At what age did you start in racing as a whole, not only sim racing, but I mean, I guess we can start maybe your first introduction into automotive and wanting to get into the race series. You know, at what age? Give us a history of that.
Well, I've always been into anything with wheels since I could walk, basically, since I was born. My father was a mechanic. I kind of followed in his footsteps, and so from a young age, I've been in it. First real experience driving something would be go-karts, and I'd probably be around like 12 years old or so. And from there, it just kept progressing all the way to full-size cars.
I see all those fabulous glowing trophies behind you there. Give us an idea of who you are in motorsport in Trinidad and what you do to get all those fabulous trophies and all those race pictures you have behind you there.
Yeah, so I own and run a shop together with my father here in Trinidad, and since we moved back in about 10 years ago, we naturally just got straight into the racing scene here. Started off with Solodex, then the Drag and Wind series that Autosport used to put on, and then in 2013, when the TTASA club got back Wallerfield, we jumped on that and prepared our vehicle and went straight into Wallerfield, and that's where we pretty much have been since. The trophies are just accumulated from all those different racing series.
What do you think are your chances in this TTASA GT Sports series? You think you have a chance? You think you're up there with those the fast boys?
I know I'm not a slow driver by any means. I also know I'm not equally the fastest driver by any means. So I think I fall in the high mids kind of area, high midfield. Again, I'm just doing it for fun. I'm not that competitive with it, but as I do anything, I just try my best, and where I finish is where I finish.
Right. How is he going from the controller to the wheel conversion? How is that treating you?
Yeah, so for some people, they have quite a steep learning curve trying to transition to the wheel. In my particular case, I didn't have that. I kind of transitioned to the wheel very quickly. I would say within about a week, I was doing the same times and better than I was on the controller. I don't know if it's to do with, again, racing in the real world, so I'm able to apply a little bit more of knowledge towards the wheel. But
Right.
for me, it wasn't that difficult.
Who are your heroes in sim racing?
So I've only recently got into sim racing, at least a competitive aspect of it. So I never really followed any of the big sim racing guys, so I'm not too aware of them. But I've watched a couple of videos on YouTube, most notably Super GT. So he's one that I always like to watch his videos, but there's no particular person I would say I really idolize or I follow.
Well, thank you, Stephen. It was nice having you on. I support you. I think you will do very well. I hope to see you in the finals. I even hope to see you up there, maybe in the top 3. As some may know, that Stephen and I actually race against each other quite a bit. So I actually consider Stephen one of my competitors in real life. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, so I'd just like to say big thank you to TTASA and the crew that are putting on this online sim championship. It's great for the motorsport community of Trinidad and Tobago, and I wish it all the best. Thank you.
Okay, guys, so that was the interview with Stephen Hussein, Island Paradise, the Mazda man himself. Again, amazing race from him that last race, finishing 2nd place, being very consistent and very clean, and just putting down those lap times to secure himself a lovely 2nd place as he goes into the semi-finals, the quarterfinals. Coming up next, we have a great grid of racers with Gavin Daniel, ERS bad guy, the fastest guy in 2 laps, finished 2nd in the qualifying, followed by the fastest doctor known around the track, who's Neil Gopi Singh, my good friend, the Swift man himself, who knows how to roll a Swift. Not in the best of ways, but somehow, someway, he rules the Swift. Followed by Stefan Sully, and Daniel Prasad in 4th place. Danny Moy, the CS3 Lancer man with the turbo. Was that a CS4? I think it's a CS3. I'm going to CS3, but you can't miss that car. It's a turbo Lancer. In 5th place, very legendary racer David Lyons, the man with the fastest turbo Swift in Trinidad and Tobago. It's a lovely grey Swift, and the car moves. If anyone's seen it move before, trust me, the car is quick. We have 3 minutes to go before the start of the 2nd race. And in 6th place, we have Matthew Sylvan Singh, reading from that Ravi Singh camp, with breeding. Basically, that camp is breeding legends. So, as you know, they are known for putting out some great young drivers out there on the track. So Sylvan Singh has a lot to live up to and a lot to defend, as he'll be in that 6th position, and he'll be in the last qualifying position if he can maintain it into the quarterfinals. Behind him, we have Kyle Paul, followed by Jonathan Bash, who's It's Alive. We have Dana Roach, Human Roach. We have Jarrell Kashi, Blacks 868, repping his Trini colors true and true, followed by Ainsley Lochan and Kendall Lane. Last race, we did have 2 drivers who failed to get into the room in time, and because of that, drivers, when they fail to enter the room and enter the race in time, they are eliminated from competition. All drivers are aware of this, and it's just a sad part of the racing. So we lost Shaquille Gray last race, was the 3rd fastest qualifier, and we lost also Jordan Milford. It's Jay-Z. So those 2 drivers are pretty quick, and they were 3rd and 12th respectively in the qualifying. We have 1 minute to go before we jump on track and we get back Ray Smith as we go green on track one more time at Dragon Trail to see who can maintain that top 6 position under the heat of battle.
Please note.
Welcome back, Ray.
A lot of cars.
Thank you very much, Luke, and welcome back to all of you who are joining us for this 2nd quarterfinal that takes place here this evening. We look forward to some fantastic racing action. These sponsor logos are on some of the cars as well, so we need to pay attention to that as we continue to share with you some of the action taking place right here. Luke did share with you who are the drivers in this quarterfinal, and we also want to thank Mark Hodgson for doing that fantastic interview with Stephen Hussein. So lots of information coming to us at the moment from race control. and we're trying our best to keep up with the information as well as the racing action. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you all of the racing action in this particular quarterfinal. The drivers are making their way out to the grid right now, and we should be seeing that action momentarily. We're missing one driver. We're missing one driver at the moment, but that so we'll wait for him for about 5 minutes just to make sure that he can join the grid. And once we get that driver into the activity, we should be able to begin the racing this evening. One more qualifier for the evening.
Racing driver. I wonder who's that racing driver.
I'm not entirely certain because we haven't gotten that information just yet, but we will have that information for you shortly in the event that he is unable to join. And of course, we are making our way right now to the starting grid. 15 laps of racing coming to you in a few minutes. 15 laps of racing coming to you in a few minutes.
The past race was 27 minutes.
So in this 5 minutes time, the drivers will have this time until that driver joins the room to get a little bit of practice out on track. To basically get those bugs and those nerves worked out of the systems as fast as possible. We do have a very nice mixed grid. We see everything from Ferrari to BMW to Skyline to Subaru. Again, that Subaru that we saw Brandon drive in the first race is the same type of Subaru, but this one is sponsored by Motul, our primary sponsor. So again, these drivers have taken the time to practice their cars, and hopefully, if they've watched what Brandon did, they can pick the right car and set some fast times around this track. With a 1:45.640 set by Brandon, which is a blistering fast time, and consistent 1:46s set throughout the race. On worn, new, old tires, some fuel, plenty fuel. Brandon was just moving around that track last race.
This is the TTASA eSports Gran Turismo Sport Digital Cup, brought to you with the kind compliments of Motul Lubricants, Garage Fresh, Rent a Studio, Train Tuner, and Trap Speed Simulators. In our technical chair once again this evening, supporting us and providing us with valuable information as well as the live feed is none other than Mark Puxon of Trap Speed Simulators. And we want to thank as well the officials from TTASA who would have been involved in putting this event together. The officials in race control, Dwayne Buddha Singh out of Trinituna and Devinath out of the Rented Studio Camp, as well as Jared Wilson, who is famous for dog around Trinidad and Tobago, operating out of Texas at the moment. So a great team making an effort to make sure that this event is put on. I want to thank the officials of TTASA as well, the president, Mr. Faisal Madan, the vice president, Mr. Ashton Elegon. We also want to thank the honorary secretary, Navin Sidat. We thank the honorary treasurer, Mr. Roger Hachian. Not to mention the members' representatives, that is Ryan Peru and Ronnie Ramdale. So, making their way just through that, approaching that chicane of death at Dragon Trail, one of the fictional tracks that is in the Gran Turismo Sport game or sim game. But this is one of the platforms that is not one of the platform that is endorsed by the FIA, and this is the platform that has been chosen for the Race at Home series around the world.
Okay, so the Group 4 class is comprised of many different manufacturers, and we have 1 minute for this driver to enter the lobby and get ready for this race. After that minute, the race will begin with or without him. So as time runs dry, we have a lovely group of cars. We have Neil G setting the fastest time in practice in that BMW. In that nice Licky Molly livery, he also drives a Swift in the Kimoli sponsored seat. So for him, it's again, he reps his sponsors true and true, as all drivers take time to design their livery to pick up those who've always supported them. So you got to show a lot of respect to these drivers that even though they're not racing out on track right now, but they are racing at home, they still take time to design and paint the cars to show love for their sponsors. Because again, without sponsors, racing won't be possible, as we're about to begin for the second race of this quarter-final, for the semi-final. compete in TTASA GT Sport E 2020 Online Cup.
Okay, so the grid is set. The guys are getting ready to get into the second qualifier for the evening. Looks like they're starting.
And it looks like there's chaos on the starting grid.
There's
There's
some
chaos.
starting grid issues at the moment, but it's getting to the start.
Yeah. I think O'Sully stalled it on the line. I believe
It
Stefan
looks like
Sile has stalled that
stalled on
Lamborghini
that line,
on the
correct?
line. We're not sure what's taking place right now, if this was a false start or what happened, but right now, currently, the cameras, I believe we're having a restart of this race, as the drivers are now leaving the room to re-enter the room and start this race over due to the technical misfunction at the start. So we're back in studio now. Ray.
Yeah, it looks like we've got some technical issues there, Luke. So we're just getting it sorted out. The officials at race control are getting that issue sorted out. But of course, this is sim racing that is taking place from home. So this is always going to be impacted by what are the issues germane to the technical feeds, as well as the internet connectivity issues that may or may not plague some of the activity that's taking place from time to time. However, we are making an effort to try our best to deal with it as best as we possibly can, so that we can still bring you the action live here this evening. The TTASA and the racers would love to continue to thank the Ministry of Sports representative, Ms. Delicia Blizzard, for her continued support of motorsport. She is the liaison between the ministry as well as TTASA, and we look forward to the resumption. We look forward to the continued support from the ministry, as well as we are looking forward. We look forward to the return of racing activity up at Wallafield.
We just got word that the race will be restarting in 2 minutes due to technical issues.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. And we thank you for your patience while we continue to bring you this action. We will be restarting in 2 minutes as the officials have advised.
So Ray, which car do you like out there? I saw some Lambos, some Ferraris, a lot of choices, Ray. What do you like as your top pick out there?
Today I like Subarus.
Bandwagon!
Yeah,
Ray.
Actually, no. Actually, as you may or may not know, my email address is RAEWRX.
So Ray, do you vape?
Yeah. I've been a Subaru fan for decades.
I'm not sure how I feel about that, Ray. I'll just scoot around a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm scooting the wrong way. I'm an evil guy. I'm sorry. I pick sides. The evil is about to go.
Yeah. There's a camp in Trinidad that is very, very active when it comes to the Evo fraternity. There's also a Subaru fraternity. Of course, the head gasket issues on Subarus have made them infamous. And that has been one of the issues that continues to plague those.
You've taken that away from me. Thanks. I have nothing to say about Subarus now. Nothing. Thank you. Thank you. God.
Yeah. It's like Eminem in 8 Mile. You know, you come out front and say what your flaws are and give the other person nothing to say.
Yeah, you won. That's that.
What else can you say after that? The 4G63 platform is fantastic, though. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It will always be one of the more fantastic platforms when it comes to these forced induction power plants and pocket rocket type racers.
I saw an argument today that the Evo 10 is not a real Evo because it does not have a true 4G63. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that has been an argument that has been around since the Evo 10 was introduced, and that continues to be one of the challenges of the purists and what the purists feel about the 4G63. So there is a very little that you can get away with or get around when it comes to that argument. I take a neutral position because I've been a Subaru fan all this time. So, it's not something that phases me one way or the other.
a side, Ray. You gotta pick a side.
No, not when it comes to the Evo 10 or the best Evo platform that was ever developed, which is the Evo. Let me do call a number.
I say
call a
7.
number.
7, Evo 7.
I was just about to say 7.
7 is the best Evo.
I was just about to say 7. But the people who have been involved in 8 and 9 are going to, are going to have a challenge. And then we even have a 7 owner in our midst at the moment, and he continues to extol the virtues of the 7 from time to time. So it is, a debate.
In that comment section below, let's drop some votes. Evo or WRVX head gasket. Yeah. Whatever you feel like voting, but Evo. So just drop your votes in the comment section below. Let's see who wins overall pertaining to camp support.
There's Tam, Tam and they from Tobago, right?
Yeah.
Tam is a die-hard Evo fan.
Yeah. Is that 3 or 4 he has?
Yeah, he has about 4, but regardless of whatever else he has in his garage, Evo is his go-to. You know that, right? I
thought he had a GT3 RS as a go-to and
yeah,
GT2 RS for the wife.
He does. But
if anyone's ever seen Tam's car collection, just carry something to pick up your jaw and connect it back to your face because it is ridiculous.
I love
we
his
do
McLaren.
Have some drivers. No, what does he have? The 720S.
Yes. Yeah. I love his McLaren. It's a beautiful, beautiful vehicle.
I would sell my both pinky fingers. Both pinky fingers to just sit in it, start it, and make 2 blocks around Tobago. See?
Yeah.
Trade.
Around Tobago.
The whole Tobago. They aren't cheap pinky fingers, guys.
Guys, we're just making some light conversation until we get the competition back in order for you this evening. Yeah. So we thank you for your patience and we ask you to continue to stand by as we bring the action to you momentarily.
Right, we just found the winner of the Evo versus WRX. It's Kevin Singh with the Cortina. The Cortina has won between the Evo and the WRX. It's a solid choice. I cannot deny the Cortina is a wonderful vote there. Kevin, good choice. Good choice, Kevin.
Okay, this is on the live feed, I guess, right?
Yeah, this is on the YouTube chat. I'm just keeping abreast.
Okay, so 2 things. One, while the guys are, Cortina is not an Evo. That's the first thing. And second thing is, if you're talking about the Ford platform, the
Escort,
the Mark II is probably the most popular platform
worldwide. Is it worldwide? Is that fair to say? Okay, well, as I look through this live chat, let's see what's happening here. You shouldn't pay for the fathers. Yo, the Wallafield Watts man is the most disrespectful man in the whole live chat, and I will not have him. A few days ago, he was disrespecting the biker fraternity, and the guys told me I must defend the bikers. And again, we'll be boycotting the Wallafield Nuts man from tomorrow. So we're not buying no nuts tomorrow, nuts man, because the bike man not taking that kind of disrespect. Again, big up to all the CMRC racers, all the circuit racers who are on 2 wheels. Mad love for putting your life and limbs on the line as you drag knees and elbows around the track. I miss it so much.
I'm sorry, I was paying attention to the live feed, and it's really lit.
Yeah.
Guys.
Okay, and we are now about to start the race as we wait for the green lights to come on and racers to make their way into the first corner and hopefully around it safely. All yours, Ray.
Thank you, Luke. As you get ready for the start of the second qualifier, the second quarterfinal event taking place right here, right now. And the light is off, the cars are off, and the cars have started. We're making their way to the first corner. We see ERS bad guy in that BMW making his way up to that first chicane. making his way nicely up to that first chicane, and he's followed by looks like Neil. That's right. It looks like Neil. So very, very
Fastest
nicely.
doctor is in second place, guys.
In second place at the moment. ERS Bad Guy is one to watch, as we talked about him earlier. He's one of those drivers who is in a position to challenge at the moment, followed very closely by Neil, then followed by the Renaissance, in third as your top three runners at the moment. So the race is finally underway. We do have a very clean start, nicely done for all drivers. Haven't had any major challenge in terms of the start as they make their way through the paces up to that first chicane.
Renaissance is known as Kyle Paul. He was in 7th place on the grid and he has made his way up to third. Amazing start by him.
Yeah, so he had a fantastic start. Very, very nicely done. Side-by-side action down in the second and fourth and fifth position as they make their way around that bend, heading to that chicane of death. Somebody goes wide. Somebody goes wide. Not able to see exactly who that is.
Human Roach has just went wide.
Just went right there. The Roach.
That's Dana Roach. Dana Roach. Yep.
Nice, but everybody coming through that chicane of death nicely. Nice and clean as they make their way around that chicane, getting down to that last big right-hander down at the bottom before they head back to the start-finish line to complete this first lap. Nice first lap, no real events, even though there is some challenge taking place right now in the 4th and 5th position.
David Lyons is in a battle with Daniel Prasad as he is under attack. He's under attack from the Human Roach himself. So we have a nice battle going for 4th place right now as they enter into that first corner.
Trini Lyons defending nicely as Daniel Prasad looks like he's making his way, comes alongside, gets around, gets in the inside and gets under the inside of that chicane, takes that nice inside line, gets that position in 4th. Putting David in 5th.
Very brave from Daniel the outside.
Brave. Yeah, but nicely done there for him. Nice clean pass for him. Very nicely done as they continue to make their way. And look, David is having another challenge at the moment. Everybody's challenging David, boy. That's interesting. David is having another challenge at the moment as he defends nicely and maintains that 5th position. So a little battle going on there at the moment. More action going on the inside of that second or third chicane. 17 corners in this track, ladies and gentlemen. So drivers taking every chance that they can to make sure that they don't end up in the relegation zone. Relegation zone is from 7th downward. Remember, the first 6 are the ones that get into the qualifying, the semi-finals. So that is something to pay attention to. Drivers trying to make sure that they stay in that top 6 position to be able to get into those qualifiers. Look, into the
right now,
Danny, semi-finals.
Correct. So right now, Danny's trying to connect to his brothers in the BMWs, who is Neil G and Bad Guy Cali out front. Going to group up with them and set that same pace until the end of the race. He's currently 40s and we make a move into 3rd into this corner if the Renaissance cannot defend, but he pushes him into the narrow section of the track and squeezes him in to see if he can go down that line.
Control that line, exactly.
Very good defense by the Renaissance. Very good defense. Kyle Paul is not giving him an inch. He's having to work for every piece of track that he's having to fight for. Meanwhile, David Lyons is now on the attack on Danny Prasad. Snuck up right on the bumper of that BMW as they enter the first left-hand kink of the track into that first chicane. Let's see what happens here. Again, Kyle Paul is defending very nicely in that Ferrari, keeping all those horses on the track as best as he can as he holds off the German behind him and the American behind him.
First 2 races are well ahead of the this.
Oh, and massive mistake by Kyle Paul. Massive mistake as he turns the curb and he spins it. Let's get out of replay. Let's see what happened.
Let's see what happens.
2 on the ground.
Oh yeah, he hopped over that. We want to thank Mark Hodgson for bringing us that replay. Nicely done there for us to be able to see what would have actually happened as we continue the 3rd lap of action here this evening. 3rd lap in this qualifier. So in 3rd, Neil is still in 2nd position. ERS Bad Guy is still in 1st position. And in 3rd position now, in 3rd position is Danny Boy and Daniel Prasad, and David Lyons is in 4th. In 5th position, the Renaissance, that's right, the Renaissance, and in 6th position is Lujan. Is that Lujan? Yeah, so Lujan, right. So that's Ainsley Lujan, or Lujan, and Ainsley is the former rally driver. Rally was his discipline. He was a former member of the rally club. As a matter of fact, still an active member. Ainsley Lochan taking part in this activity here. He's the father of Rossi Lochan as well, who is a kart racing driver. So we welcome that team, Ainsley and Rossi. I'm sure is supporting his father in this series. But Ainsley, of course, making an effort to try to stay in the top 6. So that's nice to see him in this activity here this evening. He's in 5th position at the moment, getting into that, and It's Alive is now in 6th. 1.5 seconds between the 1st and 2nd place. Neil has a huge Renter Studio logo on the back fender. So Neil supporting his sponsors, Renter Studio, involved in this action here, along with his other sponsor, who is Liquid Molly. So it's very nice to see him and to have him in the action here this evening. Mark, can you tell us anything about strategy here on this quarterfinal?
All right, good night, ladies and gentlemen. Well, tonight we have the Dragon Trail and Group 4, which is actually a really good combination. This is a race setup here where there will be some managing of fuel, because if you continue it flat out, you're probably going to end up too long in the pit taking fuel to finish your race. So this is a little bit of a balance of how much fuel and how much tire wear that you have to manage, and also what car you choose. If you choose a car that is really greedy on fuel or really brutal on tires, it'll really affect how much time you have to spend in that pit. And the most common strategy is that people will have to, most common strategy you're going to see tonight is people are going to go for the one stop. Some guys are probably going to go for the double soft tire combination, and some may even go for the soft and medium setup combination. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen tonight. Most of the top guys, you would have seen them already start with the soft tire and have basically tried to open up that gap. And some of the guys may have started with the mediums, but we'll find out soon enough. I would say around lap 8 or 9 when we start to see people going in for their pit stops. I don't foresee anybody trying to go in anybody earlier. As we'll hand it over to Luke, who I believe has just rejoined us.
Mark, is my audio coming in? My audio is now coming out. I'm back, guys. I'm back for the race.
He's back. I think he just went to buy me a bag of nuts.
No, my Windows PC said blue screen is time for now, so my race was over instantly.
Well, glad to have you back, Luke. I think I'll go back to my job.
Okay, Mark, we will check you back in the pit shortly. Okay, so I missed a couple of things, but I am back and I see the battle for 4th place has spread out quite a bit.
Yes, it has.
Quite a bit. Was there an accident, Ray?
No, there wasn't any accident per se. It's just this is literally drivers who are making up the gap and separating themselves, breaking the draft so as to be able to continue to try to get the best possible laps that they can.
Nice.
Yeah,
So guys are now putting down their times.
Now they're putting down some times and trying to get the best possible clean laps that they can. They're not allowing the guys to continue to draft them to be able to try to get better pace or to be able to pass them. So the top 6 running order has remained pretty much the same between the time you left and the time you came back. We're just on our 5th lap of this 15-lap heat. The pit changes or pitting needs to take place in a few minutes. In a couple of laps, we should start to see guys getting into the pit and making the effort to literally change those tires, moving from soft to hard to medium, or staying with the soft combination.
The soft to soft most likely the plan. We're seeing that the pit window is now coming up. Drivers will be pitting on the 7th or 8th lap, either with a more fresh set or to run these down as they have clean track in front of them. Right now, Lochan is actually 21 seconds behind ERS Bad Guy. So again, that guy in first place doing just like Brandon and pulling out all the stops and pushing as hard as he can to break away from everyone behind him. And Lochan is off the track completely now.
Off completely. So that means that he's going to lose that position and losing a couple of positions. Ooh. Tough
And
bit
that
of luck
mistake
there
actually
for
stemmed
him.
from the first corner. It actually, first corner
course,
he went
exactly.
off on. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. So he's down in 8th now.
This just goes to show that these Subarus do understeer, but Brandon can manage understeer because he was an Evo driver. Evo drivers can drive with understeer that Subaru drivers cannot handle.
All right, so let us bring it back to the action that is in front of us at the moment, which is the second qualifier for the evening. This is race B. Race B is the second qualifier for this evening, and of course, the second quarterfinals. We just completed the qualifiers. We are now in the actual racing action, and the first 6 drivers from this heat are going to go into those semi-finals. The first 6 drivers go into the semi-finals.
I hear you. Oh. Okay, so right now we have the fast time being set by ERS Bad Guy with a 1:45.820. That is less than 3/10 of the fastest time set by Brandon the last lap. So again, we have no slouches in this B group.
Not only do we not have any slouches, we now have the fastest lap time coming in from Gavin Daniel in a 1:45.820. 1:45.820 is the fastest lap at the moment coming in from Gavin Daniel. If I'm not mistaken, that is ERS Bad Guy.
Is that beating Brandon's time as yet?
No, not yet.
It does not.
No, it
still
doesn't.
a few tenths off.
Correct. Danny Boy is in 3rd, with David Lyons now moving up into 4th. So that's the battle that we're looking at the moment. Danny Boy, which is in 3rd, is now fighting to maintain that 3rd position from David Lyons. The chicane of death is such a technical part of the course. It's
David Lyons
very,
is the first driver. Okay, David Lyons was the first driver to actually bring out the Viper as his choice of car. As we're still seeing different cars still coming out, we still have two more racing nights to go, being tomorrow night, and we'll see more manufacturers hopefully break into the competition.
But he is closing that gap between himself and Danny Boy, between himself and Daniel Prasad. So David Lyons is doing quite well and maintaining that gap, trying his best to close it in to see if he can get into that 3rd position. So a nice little battle at the moment is going on between these 2 drivers. Danny defending nicely. He's only waiting. David is only waiting for him to make a mistake to be able to get into that position. David moving up from 5th position into 4th position and now tailing Danny Prasad in that BMW.
If anyone's seen David Lyons drive before, he holds nothing back when he's in the back. He pushes everything onto the car.
And that is exactly what he's doing at the moment. The driver in front, David is looking at the outside of that of Danny at the moment. He's gone back on the inside. Now he's going on the inside. Going back on the outside again, so he's looking at the undercut. That's what he's doing, but he's not getting through at the moment because Danny is no slouch. He's defending nicely. The 1.5 second gap of being in a person in front allows that person to benefit from the draft. But that is exactly what David is trying to do. He's trying his best to benefit from that draft between himself and Danny Prasad. Let's see, he's not going to try to pass here, that's for sure. He's not going to try to pass here, but he's going to probably try to make an attempt as they get into the tunnel to be able to see whether or not he can get the better of Danny Prasad.
But if he plays this smart, he wouldn't have to pass him on the track. If he has enough fuel, he could save enough fuel that when he comes into the pits, he will take a less time on the pit stop and beat him on the pit exit.
Yeah. That would be a very good strategy. It's now 8 laps. So now
they should both be coming in now. They should be both coming in.
Yeah? Yep. Just as we predicted, just as Lou predicted, they're now both coming in. Danny's coming in for sure. Could have had a blisteringly fast
Did we just have an issue with Neil? Did Neil make a mistake in the pit? Because he was just in 2nd place and he's been relegated to 4th place in that one pit stop. We're not sure if Neil made a mistake on picking fuel to refuel or not to refuel, or took long to decide which tires he took. But again, that mistake cost him dearly as he's now in the midst of the Renaissance, who's in 5th place. Just 4 second gap between them.
Neil was so he's had a really bad run of luck there with regard to that pit stop. now in fourth position, losing those two positions. It's going to be difficult for him to make it back up, but let's see what he can pull out of his hat in terms of trying to make back up that position, those two positions that he lost.
Well,
And
David
two other
Lyons
drivers
is
would have
now
gone
up
in
to
and come out,
second
right?
place.
So
A
David
very
is now
quick
in
pit by
second.
David Lyons. So he
I
did
know.
save a lot of fuel. So he had a very short pit stop. So he cut out Neil as well as Danny Boy. So Danny Boy is now into sixth place. Again, the race just changed dramatically in a matter of 3 pit stops.
Yep. Running order has changed tremendously. So David Lyons is now in the lead. ERS Bad Guy remains in front. That's Gavin Daniel, if I'm not mistaken. And
That's
then
correct.
It's Alive. Just remind us, look who It's Alive is.
It's alive. It's alive. I'll get back to you on that shortly as I pull up my list. That's everything. Just put it back up.
Oh, no problem. So as we continue to bring the action, we continue to show you to have a look at this sim racing. And of course, don't forget, just like and share the live feed. The live feed that is running at the moment, It's Alive, the fourth position, is now getting into the pit himself. Jonathan Vash is who that is. And he's now getting into the pit to get those tires changed. And it looks like David Lyons as well is in the pit.
So David Lyons did not pit that
go in,
last lap.
He did not pit in the last lap. So it means that he's now, that is why he was in second position for that lap. So he's now falling back, which puts Neil back in that position.
That's what happened. So
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
Right,
My
so Neil ends up in that position. Danny back in third. David is now in fourth. So the order changes back to what it was 2 laps ago. So that is exactly what would have happened. And that is why we would have had that drastic change in the pits insofar as the order was concerned, because not everybody pitted at the same time. So that gets back to what our order is at the moment. And Mark could probably share some more detail in terms of pit strategy.
Well, if I was behind Daniel at that point, yes, definitely, as you mentioned before, I would have been looking to save fuel and maybe even hang back a bit and maybe even consider if I could manage it, maybe even consider just taking a touch of fuel and not even changing tires. Depending on what I was on, because if I was on a medium tire, I might consider to see if I could do the entire 50 laps on a medium tire while conserving some fuel, seeing if I can get the advantage on a shorter pit lap behind Daniel, and then maybe try to hold out to see if I could hold that lead. Risky strategy, but it would have been something I may have looked at trying at that particular time, because getting past Daniel, who I've raced many times before, he's very good in defense. So it's very difficult to get past him. If it's one thing, he may not have the fastest time, but if you're behind him, good luck in getting past him.
Thank you very much for that analysis, Mark. And of course, we are just about 2/3 through the race at the moment on the 11th lap, Luke.
Okay, so we just see Dina Roach is now taking a pit entry. And it's a very dangerous call, as he's going to relegate himself back to almost 8th place from a 6th place position. So again, as you know, the 6th place is the cutoff point for drivers to move into the quarterfinals. So with drivers decided to take such late pit stops, it's really changing up the race as they're losing time on those old tires. So it's very hard for drivers to maintain the tires as they go around and take very late pit strategies, because they lose time running on those old tires for so long. Right now we have a 3 BMW 1, 2, 3 from Bad Guy, Neil, and Danny Boy. So clearly BMW is working for them, and they're setting very fast times and very consistent times over the track, as the Viper may be a little more hard on tires and it's a little bit heavier than the BMW. But clearly David Lyons is managing very well to secure himself in 4th place, as It's Alive bring up 5th place, and right behind him, the Renaissance Kyle Paul himself, a respectable 6th place, who has already taken a pit stop in that Ferrari.
Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, the top 6 places go straight to the semi-finals, which begin on Thursday evening, and that's Thursday evening at 7 p.m. So please, don't forget to join us for that, as well as the second set of quarterfinals, which takes place tomorrow evening from 7 p.m. right here on the TTASA eSports channel. Please like and share and send that information out to your socials so that we can have more people come in and take in the action here in sim racing in Trinidad and Tobago. Remember, this is something that is being put on by TTASA with the endorsement of FIA around the world. FIA, through its ASNs, have been launching and hosting these series so as to continue to have racing activity while we deal with not having actual racing on the road, on the tracks of the world. So this is something that is being done across the world, and we're very happy to be part of this activity in terms of bringing sim racing to you. We also wish you that those of you who are interested in getting involved in sim racing and or any other aspect of racing in Trinidad and Tobago, to get in touch with one of the members of the management committee of TTASA, become a member, and of course, take in some of the benefits that we have to offer as a member of TTASA, inclusive of free access to events for you and another member, another friend of yours, as well as free track use, recognition of your accomplishments by the FIA, along with international participation in events that you qualify so to do. So the Danny Boy is now coming up with a fastest lap of 1:46.947, and David Lyons has a fastest lap of 1:45.839. He's the second fastest behind Danny Boy.
No, he's a second faster than Danny Boy.
Oh, he
so
is
at this rate,
faster than Danny Boy.
He can't close up on Danny in the next 3 laps, because he still have 4 laps to go, I believe. Or at least 3 laps as he pass out, start, finish straight.
Yeah,
so
that's
again,
right.
Danny
so there's a
has
potential here.
Danger coming behind him from David Lyons, and David Lyons is not one just to give up a podium so easily. So he's going to be pushing that car to the edge.
That's correct. Yep. 3.5 seconds between them at the moment. So that's where the battle is taking place at the moment, between the 3rd and the 4th position. Very interesting battle taking place there. Gavin is up in front and he's well ahead of the rest of the pack. Dr. Gopi Singh is in between and he is comfortably in that 2nd position. But the battle is taking place between 2nd and 3rd at the moment. Not 2nd and 3rd, sorry, 3rd and 4th. 3rd and 4th at the moment is where the battle is taking place. We're seeing that there's some action taking place down at the bottom of the pack here as well, with 2 more laps to go. And when I say down at the bottom of the pack, down at the bottom of the pack, where the qualifiers are concerned, the guys who are going to qualify for semi-finals. So that's something to pay attention to as well.
So right now, the 6th place, the Renaissance, he has a very safe gap of 12.8 seconds to the 7th place. So if he continues and keeps it safe and keeps it on track, he should be secure.
He will be, into
in the quarterfinals. Correct.
Yeah.
So that's correct.
Yeah. So that's good for him. So it's pretty much set up.
Race looks set right now.
Yeah, it looks. The top 6, they look set. The other
just
drivers,
got word. Ray, we just got word. Just look down at your board and see what that time is, Ray. Look down at the board. Look down at it, Ray.
1:45.174.
That is now the fastest time, right?
1:45.174 is now the fastest time. That's right. Remember what I was saying? I told you. I told you. I love all racers just like
Ray is getting to the point. ARS bad guy just set the fastest time out of the 2 races thus far.
Of the 2 races so far. What does that tell you? This is racing, and this is the penultimate lap. This is the penultimate lap. 145, 174. So
on 1 tires.
That tells you that anything is possible, and we still have 2 more quarterfinals to go. So we
have a battle on our hands.
What is going to happen? We have exactly. It is no longer a clear-cut issue of who's going to end up in the lead of the final. It's no longer clear, and that is what makes for great racing.
I hope Brandon brought himself a 2nd controller just in case the first one fails, because he's going to have a hard time this week.
Like Brandon said in his interview, he just needs to remain consistent. Just like all the other drivers, just do the right things, remain consistent, make little or no mistakes, and you will be up in the top qualifiers. I think that is basically what we expect.
I can't wait to see the 2nd track, Ray. I can't wait to see the next track for the semifinals.
Of course, the tomorrow night is going to be lit. David now has the gap down to 1.5 seconds and will benefit from the draft. Let us see if he can make it count in this last lap. If he can make it count in this last lap, then great. But I still can't figure out how these guys get to 145 seconds in this.
Ooh, that is much smaller. That is much smaller than 1.5 seconds. That is much smaller. He has 2 more laps to go. He has 1 lap to go, I believe. This is the final lap.
This is the penultimate, yeah. He's 7/10 off. Thank you very much, Mark. 7/10 off. So
right now, Danny Boy is weaving on the straight, trying to break that draft as best as he can as he enters the chicane. But I don't think David needs the draft because he's putting on a second gap faster every lap. So either Danny's struggling on his old tires, or David just much better managed his car throughout this race.
It is fantastic though. This is the battle of this particular race. This battle between Danny Passad and David Lyons. Beautiful battle from these two drivers. Nice clean racing from both of them. No real challenge in terms of creating any untoward situations, but keeping it nice and clean and nice and straight on the track, with staying within the limits and looking for the opportunity. That's exactly what David is doing. Danny's defending very nicely in making his effort.
Know, David Ray, the red mist is not far. The red mist is not far from this battle.
But let's see what happens, because he's now heading down to that straight where he heads down to that next big hairpin. Let's see if he's in a position to be able to do anything about it. No, it doesn't look so.
This is the death chicane. This is the death chicane.
What is going to happen now? Right now, it looks like ERS Bad Guy is also heading to the finish line. Looks like that's what's happening as well. So yes, ERS Bad Guy gets the lead, takes that podium, first position. Neil Gopi Singh is going to come in comfortably second overall as he makes his way around the bottom corner for the last time in this one. So Neil Gopi Singh is coming in for that checkered flag right now as well. Nicely done there for Neil. And let's see what Danny Boy is going to be able to maintain that position. Yes, it looks like he's getting challenged from David, but David is not going to make it. Danny Boy comes into third, David comes into fourth, and that's a big gap now between himself and the other drivers.
That is just had a 1-2-3 with the BMW's race, so the BMW is basically gridlocked.
BMW is doing quite well in this particular one. Nicely done for them. Very nicely done. ERS Bad Guy. Gavin Daniel is the winner of this one. And Gavin now looks like he's in a position to challenge somebody. Anyway, right. So here's the thing. We want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that tomorrow evening the action starts at 7 p.m. and in a few moments, we will tell you the finishing order of this particular one. Once again, we want to thank you for your participation. The sponsors, we thank our sponsors once again: Motul Lubricants, Garage Fresh, Renter Studio, Trinituna, and TSS Trap Speed Simulators. And both Danny and Trini have no fuel. They're running on fumes, we were told, just as they were coming down to the end there. So it's a good thing we didn't get them limping across the line in a position that would have put them in a relegation zone. Very, very nicely done, David and Danny. Some action there for us. Luke, you can take us out.
Danny did beat David in the pits. That early pit stop was the lifesaver for Danny.
It appears that way. It certainly appears that way. I don't know if Mark wants to chime in here, but that may very well have been the deciding factor.
No, I agree. I think that Daniel was better able to manage his tires and fuel. That being said, he did go for... I don't know if he was intending to go for the undercut, but he did end up getting the undercut because... That Viper pitted, I think, a lap too late. I think what happens is, if he had pitted a lap earlier, I think he was losing too much time on that extra lap he was out there for with old tires, and I think that cost him dearly. I think if he had just kept to the normal strategy, stayed behind Daniel, kept just waiting for Daniel's tires and fuel to diminish, I think the opportunity would have opened up a little bit sooner. But that extra lap may have cost him that third place. That being said, he's now in fourth place, so he still has a second chance to shine towards the finals. So his race in this series isn't over yet. But that was a really exciting race to watch there.
It was most definitely. We should be having the provisional results in a few minutes. that we will be able to share with you. But once again, we want to thank you for joining us and, for, of course, for being part of this eSport event being brought to you by TTASA with the support of the FIA in Trinidad and Tobago here. So we're just waiting for those provisional results. Once we get those, and Luke will run through those results with us, and then we will be able to sign off for the evening.
Okay, so
Just
the lucky
making
thing
sure
about this, yeah, we should be ending shortly. But until then, the drivers who are in this C group and D group that we're racing tomorrow, they did get a chance to see some very fast drivers abuse the track in different ways and attack the track and apply different strategies. So they have an advantage going into their races, knowing that the BMW M4 as well as the WRX works amazingly on this track, as well as that Viper that David Lyons was able to manhandle around the chicanes and bring the battle right to Danny's doorstep. Again, drivers saw that the pit strategy is a very well implemented strategy, and you must take the time to plan out when you're going to come in and how much you can serve behind a faster driver. So we have a lot to see coming ahead.
Absolutely. The results are in the chat. We do have results.
To find it. I just tried to pull it up. No, it's not. Okay. Provisional results just posted. Okay, so the provisional results have just been posted. Unless a change has been made by the race control or directed by the race control, these are the provisional results until they have confirmed or been authorized. Good, right?
Yeah.
I'll just swing it. So these are provisional results. We have ERS Bad Guy out there in front, who's Gavin Daniel, followed by Neil G, the fastest doctor in the left, right, east, west, north, south. Amazingly, he didn't flip the BMW. Again, he needs to upgrade from a Swift BMW to the racetrack. He's in second place, followed by Daniel Passad, the fastest man in a CS3 Lancer, that's turbo in the region, I guess. And David Lyons right behind him, who's Trini Lyo in that Viper. In fourth spot, it's alive. His name I forgot, but I have found it. Who's Jonathan Bash?
That's right, Jonathan Bash.
Jonathan Bash doesn't have
that Lamborghini,
in that Lamborghini. No, he's actually the Ferrari.
Is he?
So, no, that's my bad. It's alive was in the. That's correct. Well, I guess he was in the Lamborghini because City Huracan.
Yeah, the Huracan.
Car there. Yeah. Normally he's always racing in the Ferrari though, so I'm finding it's a surprising change for him. But again, he did it very well to actually get into that second last available spot. And bring up the back would be Kyle Paul, the Renaissance, who took a big spin early in the race, pushing it to the limit, clipping a curb, and looping out, still able to recover his 6th position, closing off the qualifying for the quarterfinals, or
semi-finals. Yeah.
So the drivers who did not qualify for the semi-finals were Dana Roach, Ainsley Lochan, and Kendall. His last name is, which I lost that as well, guys. I will get to you, Kendall's last name. Definitely has a last name.
Yeah, he does. Most definitely. Most certainly does.
Kendall Lean.
That's Lean, exactly. Kendall Lean. So really nice action there, guys. We want to thank the race control. We want to thank the organizers, Dwayne Budusing, Debbie Nath, Jared Wilson, and of course Mark Hodgson, the technical chief, the person in charge of the feed and making sure that we're able to see the action. Once again, we thank our sponsors, Motul Lubricants, Garage Fresh, Rent a Studio, TriniTuner.com, and of course, Trap Speed Simulators. And of course, we thank you for coming on board and being here with us this evening. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. when we have our second quarterfinals for this week. Second quarterfinals, Race C and Race D, taking place tomorrow evening at 7 and 8:30 respectively. Luke, you can feel free to wrap us up.
Ray said everything there, so I'm gonna stick with what he said. And thank you guys again. Show some love. Share this stream before the stream starts tomorrow. Just drop your stream and just share it on your WhatsApp, share it on Facebook. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring the little bell icon. Like I said, 5 million times before. As you come back to see us tomorrow for some more great racing action. Again, support all the drivers. Feel free to find them on Facebook. Check out the TTASA Facebook website. and basically message them for any info that you need pertaining to the next upcoming event like this, as we hope to bring many more events like this in the near future until we go back to actual racing at Wallerfield Circuit. Thank you guys. Luke and Ray out, as well as Mark. Good work with you, Ray.
Yeah. Looks like we're getting ready to start right now.
And they're off. The track is green. Track is green. Pulling into the pits. You can bring it out. Here we are. And Ryan is off. And Ryan is off the track. He's in the dirt, and he's really getting himself.
Right. Work on the outside there. You get their speed. No, it changes.
And he's on top of the cyclist up there.
Fantastic time from him so far. Fastest time in qualifying up to now. So let's see if anybody's in a position to beat that time.
And this is the TTASA eSports Gran Turismo Sport Digital Cup 2020.